You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
You know, like the blood isn't red. It's usually like more magenta than red.
Did you call it pink blood though?
Pink, yeah, because it's kind of magenta, pink, whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't as dark as blood has very much changed.
So the darker the blood, the more it bothers you, scares you?
The more it looks like real blood, yeah.
The more you're
Yeah.
unsettled.
Yeah, I hate watching somebody bleed in real life.
It
I don't
depends
want
on where they're bleeding from too. Like you can have very like light colored blood and dark blood. It depends on how oxygenated
I
the
promise
blood
you,
is.
if you go back and watch like Nightmare on Elm Street, like especially the first few, the blood does not look that much
Well,
like
yeah,
blood.
when Johnny Depp has the Old Faithful blood geyser in his bed, no, it doesn't look real.
Yeah.
Whereas when the guy gets sucked into the MRI machine in Final Destination blood-wise. What? It was funny.
It was funny, but I don't remember he wasn't bleeding. He
No,
was
I mean, he
sucked
gets
in.
hit with stuff that
The
cuts.
wheelchair impaled him.
Oh,
though.
right.
Yeah. Sorry, spoilers for a movie that you were going to watch by this point or not.
So, yeah, I don't want to watch, something that looks like a person really getting tortured and killed.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know, it feels bad for the soul.
Wait, what is that for?
In lieu of a snap, since we're not going to open another can, I assume.
This movie reminded me a bit of the movie Street Trash.
What?
Have you seen that movie, Street Trash?
Can you let Kirk introduce the show?
Yeah,
after?
let me...
Well, I thought we kind of just were going into it. I thought
Yeah,
we
let's
were
just
recording
let-
for like
let's
30
just
Cuts
go
this
into
out
it.
and puts it at the end.
We'll
okay.
just go into it, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about
Street
Street
Trash?
Trash.
So now
Nicola.
I go into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Okay.
go, yeah.
So Street Trash, I don't think I've ever actually seen Street Trash, but I feel like I've seen at least one or two reviews of it. Where isn't that the one where the guy has like the crazy liquor that like
Yeah,
melts
it melts.
people?
All the bums are,
Yeah.
sorry, unhoused. Not, I'll call it. No, whatever.
That was
At the
an
time,
off-air
they called them
conversation.
bums in 1987, so I'm just using 1987.
Yeah,
They all hang out in the trash dump. So the
Homeless
the
was
trash
the nice
community thing.
term then.
Yeah, I know, homeless. Yeah. They get some shit liquor that's like cheap or free, and it melts people into like day glow colors.
Day glow color? Oh.
Like, they melt into piles of slime that's like day glow, pink, green, blue. It's kind of a heightened reality. Like, I mean, it's definitely played more for comedy, even though externally it looks more like a horror movie, but it's more for comedy. This reminds me of that with the heightened reality and not necessarily maybe the colorfulness of this movie. This movie has better production value than Street Trash.
This
but
is better than Street Trash.
Yeah.
The dark backwards is better.
Yeah, but it's a very, very offbeat. There is a scene where one of the guys, he's like, what's he doing? He's like pissing into a thing, or he's putting it through and someone like cuts it off, and then they play like hot potato with the severed penis.
All right.
And that's Street Trash for you.
Introduce the show.
What? You introduced the show after tossing
yeah.
around a dick? Oh.
Yeah. That's the
It
perfect.
reminded me of another Alterian Studios. Okay. Oh, Tony Gardner. All right.
Speaking of throwing dicks around, welcome to the movie videos of the Farx brothers. I'm Kirk.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Nick.
We're joined by Dan Dockery, cinematographer, director, editor, and writer. Is that the right order?
It's up to Dan.
You gave me crap in the last segment.
Thank you, linear listeners, for tracking that.
But it remind you of another scene?
Well, not until I was already thinking Street Trash, and then you mentioned everyone being greasy, everything being greasy.
Yeah.
And the Greasy Strangler. Who's seen the Greasy Strangler?
No.
This is also very, I feel like, similar offbeat. That one's like super. That's just trying to like gross you out in any way possible. But
How
it's
so?
like big prosthetic infected penises on people.
Do you notice a theme in the two movies you've mentioned so far?
Penises.
What is so much dick? Yeah, what's
Yeah, I
going
don't
on?
know. I mean, I love a good dong shot, but like, I don't need it to be. I don't need it to. The bugles, the snack, like the triangular.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Greasy Strangler dude's like prosthetic penis looks like a bugle.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's
Like
the
an
part
Indian
in
bugle.
Robert Rodriguez's.
I don't
version
need
of
that. I don't need
Grindhouse
that in my-
Planet Terror, where the person's got the like rotting off wiener, right?
Well,
Oh
I
yeah,
never
he
saw
does.
that.
He does have that in
Yeah.
Planetary. Yeah.
Is that only in the extended version or in the Grindhouse? It must be in the Grindhouse version.
I think you're asking information that I am not nearly enough into Grindhouse to know. I think I saw it once when it came out in the theater, and I might have seen it one more time on home video. So
Well, Nick proposed a Grindhouse movie to us today called Trans Woman with a Shotgun, and
What?
I don't
That's a
know,
real
I'm
movie?
totally open to that.
What? Who? Which?
that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it would be as political as it sounds too.
Wait, who recommended that?
That was a lie because I'm the one that said that in our private chat
Oh,
today.
okay.
Oh, was that
I'd like
real?
to make a Grindhouse movie called Trans Woman with a Shotgun.
Oh,
It's because there's a movie called Hobo with a Shotgun.
I've heard.
where it was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to know the ideology that the movie was made with, but
Oh,
in general, it
sure.
sounds good.
Like, we're dating this bait. You're listening to this in the middle of your episode series of segments, Dan Dockery. But one would hope it's not made with the Charlie Kirk rest in partisanship ideology. Yeah, do you think, am I allowed to say, that's what I said when Rush Limbaugh died, is rest in partisanship, so.
Well, I didn't think you were going to name them. Would we go from there? Are you
Well,
interested
right,
in
so
what do you
that?
think the title of The Dark Backwards means? Like, why is it called that?
It's a reference to Shakespeare. I thought I
I'm
covered
dumb. I'm sorry.
that. I covered that in the chat before. Yeah, it's a reference to Shakespeare. I think it's from The Tempest.
Oh,
You
wow.
covered. I'm sure you did cover this in the chat.
Yeah.
It rings a bell, but the audience doesn't have the advantage of being in the chat,
Oh.
given the things they already know in this conversation that come up. In it.
Yeah, if you
So,
gave me
tell me more.
if you gave me a minute, I could look up the full quote, but it's a line from The Tempest.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Tempest
ahead.
is the one where the old man like calls the sea to come like take away his daughter or bring him a wife. Like I barely remember the Tempest from what is it, high school? That
I didn't read it in high school, no.
That's a lesser circulated Shakespeare to me than say like Hamlet
Or
or
Romeo and Juliet.
oh yeah, I've heard of that
Yeah.
one, or Twelfth Night or Richard III.
He's written a lot of stuff, right?
Sure.
Shakespeare.
I guess we brought up Richard III recently because we were talking about House of Cards.
When do we bring up Richard III?
I brought up Richard III in relation to House of Cards and how the
The
person
TV show?
speaks direct.
The TV show.
Yeah, in both versions, I believe they're based on Richard III. Was that enough vamping, Dan?
Don't call out the vamping.
what?
Would you like the full
Yeah.
context?
Please.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's Prospero who says it. Thou hadst, and more Miranda, but how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou rememberst aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayst. But so basically, what seest thou in the dark backward and abysm of time?
Vism or bism?
Abysm, like abysmal.
Like, yes.
Like the abyss, basically.
Uh,
Shakespeare, always making up words.
And Bill Paxton. He's in the abyss, isn't he?
Bill Paxton is in the abyss, yes.
See what I did there?
Right, yeah.
Oh.
Hot damn, Big Jim. He's
Yeah.
like our Shakespeare.
Yep, and the band Martini Ranch, who had a video directed by Abyss director James Cameron. See how this all ties together.
Why is this movie called The Dark Backward, though?
Yeah. What?
Probably because Adam Rifkin liked it.
Okay, no, disagree. So, Ned, what's the main character's name?
Marty Malt.
Marty Malt.
Marty Malt. Probably named after Martin Mull or something like that, who would have been a comedian. You don't think Martin Mull was...
Martin Mull is a comedian, but I don't think Marty Malt's name has anything to do
It's
with it.
close. He was on Hollywood Stars like 3 years after. Anyways, he was a stand-up. You know that.
I know Martin Mull. He was great.
Yeah, mustache. Was he on Sabrina the Teenage Witch? Was he the...
Teacher or something.
Man.
No. Paul Feig, the director, was a science teacher on that show. Martin Mull was someone like
Principal.
an uncle. That's probably principal.
All right, he's kind of like Mr. Feeney.
He's
Yeah.
an educator.
Anyways.
Mr. Mull had a long and storied career with many parts. So.
Oh, yeah. My argument for the arc of this movie that my dear brother Kirk is maybe going to have something to counter with is that Marty... I already forgot it. Marty...
Malt.
goes on an entire journey of like the Kurt Vonnegut starts low, goes high, comes back to low. And in going through that story circle, he comes back to his starting point now with experience that will make it possible for him to get the thing he wants because of the experience he has. Because he's actually funny and connecting with the audience based on the experience he has had in the course of the movie The Dark Backwards.
Yeah, but his whole routine didn't change in the middle of that. I mean, granted, he's got this new experience for sure, and he's being more relatable, but I don't see how he got from A to Z. Like, why did he suddenly decide, oh, I want to be relatable, I want to tell you this joke, quote unquote, because it's just his sad life about these horrible things that happen to him. Like,
it's the concept that the more specific you are to your own self, the more broadly appealing it is, because the more authentic and honest you are, the more people can relate to you.
yeah, but I don't understand what makes him change, though. What gives him that drive to suddenly, I don't want to tell these jokes anymore, they're not funny, and now I'm going to be relatable. Like,
Well,
why?
he's still telling jokes in the same kind of way. Like, he's a decent joke writer. He made Dan laugh when he watched it again.
Yeah, I'm in a pretty small minority with those jokes. But so I would say, there are a few ways you could look at it. One is that at the end of the movie, Marty is finally forced to stand up on his own, where he's always relied on Gus to be kind of his hype man / enabler.
Yeah.
So now he's finally having to stand up on his own. He's also kind of lost everything and maybe isn't as afraid anymore to just be himself on stage.
Well, he's got nothing to lose because he didn't have anything, and he came back to not having anything. He's actually lost more because he doesn't have,
Well, you're right that he has nothing to lose, where at the beginning of the movie he has a girlfriend that he could lose and, his best friend Gus that he could lose. And, whether Gus is a very good friend, obviously I think he's not.
I don't think his girlfriend's very good either, because she doesn't like him for him.
She doesn't seem to like him at all.
Yes.
It's
very odd.
Like, in any of their interactions, she doesn't seem to, she seems to tolerate him at best.
No, just sort of the box. They throw the box, and the box just fucking falls right out.
Yeah, see, like I said, like they're going through maybe a tenth of that garbage, and then whatever they're putting in the truck just rolls right back out of the truck.
They're driving with like a full truck.
Yeah.
What does the hand mean?
That I'm not sure. Oh, but hey, I never noticed that before. The lump is actually growing already at this part of the movie. Yeah, I'd never noticed before, because usually it's not until a little later, I think, that Gus actually notices it.
Yeah, the pus, when it starts to pus or whatever, and then they go to James
No, it just
Caan.
gets a little bigger, and then he goes to James Caan the first
I'm
time.
sorry, it has like a bulb. Isn't it lighter toward the end? It looks like one of those.
It looks like a nipple at the end at first, yeah.
No, it looks like one of those big pimples. You ever watch someone pop like a huge pimple on the internet, or like Dr. Pimple Popper?
I'm gonna say that is not a genre that I have explored in any great depth.
Much like I think we were off mic when I was talking about like watching actual videos of like real violence and killing or whatever.
Yeah, snuff films, basically.
Yeah, well, on an episode that came out that I listened to recently, we talked about Faces of Death. Did you ever watch those when you were... Because those were out in like the 2000s, so you were a little post-high school at that point, I imagine.
No, I saw one or more of them, and they actually just seemed fake to me. They didn't seem like they were...
Wow. That was the thing, is when we were watching, it was like, this isn't real. Those people didn't die. Or
Yeah,
like,
people always made it like they were snuff films, but it looked like somebody just made a film and without very good effects, so...
Yeah, I mean that's the banality and reality of life, is that when it ends, it's not cinematic necessarily. It's not.
I think the old Faces of Death, because they made a bunch of installments of that.
Oh.
I think the old from the 70s was like a mix of like, I didn't sit and watch it all the way through, but like I saw some stuff like, oh yeah, that looks staged and fake, but they also had like footage from like the San Diego plane crash where the airliner went down in a neighborhood in San Diego, and there were like body parts all over the residential street.
Well,
like,
we watched the Twilight movie scene on YouTube a bunch of times, right?
Wait, what?
Was it John Landis?
Oh, Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone movie.
Oh, Twilight Zone, yeah.
Yeah, that footage, yeah.
Yeah, where the helicopter kills the two people at the end.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have a problem with this movie, is because there's the rape scene that we'll get into.
Or this scene, which is also problematic.
Yeah,
the
that...
dead woman with the dead boobs. Yeah,
yeah. And
I was wrong. Yeah,
he molests the dead body. That's
he molested.
Gross.
He looks.
no, he
we're
licks.
about to
He
experience
licks it.
it.
No, he licks the dead body. He doesn't just
He
look.
looks it.
I looked away maybe during this part because it, like the context of seeing, like that's a living person playing a dead person.
Yeah.
And then like the. Like I wasn't paying attention the first time, and I don't like.
and it never comes up again.
Yeah,
No,
because
well,
we're supposed
the
to not
earrings
be on
do.
Bill Paxton's side.
The earrings do. He gives them to Nikki.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
Yeah, he
notice
just
that
took the
then.
earrings from her dead hand, and he'll give them to his girlfriend.
Well, what do you
Damn.
think it says about, speaking of prescience, that, like, to me, what's just happened could be a metaphor for social media?
What? What's with you and metaphors with social media?
Nick and I just watched a person get shot on camera today multiple times. And we weren't, like,
But
overwhelmed. We weren't,
relate the dead body
Ah.
to social media, though.
That's the Charlie Sheen thing. Blump squeezable bacon. That was the one I was not able to remember before.
Relate that to social media, a dead body.
Okay. So what he just did is disgusting. He
Yeah.
consumed of her flesh to a degree. But Nick and I mentally did the same thing when we watched a guy get, assassinated or, shot on camera today.
You licked his nipples after he died?
I mean, it didn't have the same sexual pleasure, but I don't know that, Bill
Yeah,
Paxton.
but it doesn't have anything to do with social media, though. Give it that.
Okay, so the prescience is that because so of our awareness of death and the cheapness of life, like I don't hold that to be a tenet in my soul, but because I can see bad things happen to people on a regular basis through social media, it's like trash to me. It's nothing. It's refuse. It's something you throw away. And then for some people, they'll dive deep and just look into it and maybe get up close and lick it. Now, is getting up close and licking it the same thing as watching a video twice? No. But it's related. It's sick, Like I admit, sick to look at that twice today.
I think the difference is that.
Is Bill Paxton uniquely evil?
Yeah,
or was
he
Bill
might be.
Paxton driven down by society to be this way?
Okay, so I'll go a different way slightly with your social media thing.
Thank you.
So a number of years ago, one of those big teen YouTubers, I think it was probably one of the Pauls, went to Japan and filmed a dead body in the suicide forest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
And tried to play that for entertainment, and thankfully got pretty soundly canceled for it. Unfortunately, he only got canceled for about 3 minutes until he issued a fake apology, and then now I think he boxes Mike Tyson or something. But
That I can't tell you. I have been let down by every Paul fight I have tried to watch. Netflix goes down. Showtime goes down. It is upsetting.
I think they're doing you a favor and keeping you from wasting your time watching.
It's bad boxing in most cases, but he did get a shot off on Floyd Mayweather Jr. and no one has gotten a hit like he did on. No, at the same time, that fight would never be sanctioned in normal boxing. Sorry, boxing is a hobby of mine.
I see.
And I know professional boxers. I have a friend, and I'll date the bait today. A friend of mine is boxing on the undercard on Netflix this Saturday.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, Sona is Slink is. This will come out in October. This will come out in October after this has happened. But the Canelo fight. So yeah, I mean,
So that makes sense that you made a boxing film.
Thank you. Yeah, because I had easy access to the boxing gym.
And it's an interest of yours, so yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I shouldn't say this, but I was interested in boxing because Louis C.K. said that he was interested in boxing, and I started boxing at the beginning of 2016. Obviously, Louis' thing happened toward the end of 2017, and but I didn't stop boxing. I was already in it. So, but I'm not gonna lie about what my initial interest is because he said it made him funnier.
You're welcome to like who or what you like, I guess. And
I'm not commenting on anything Louis did back then, or I consumed his content since then.
I never cared much for Louis C.K., and when the stuff came out, I continued to not care much for Louis C.K. So
Wait, you never saw Chewed Up back in 2009?
I did not. I don't suspect I'm going to go back and watch it now.
And now that I think about it, if I were to tell you what the first 10 minutes of that are, you would not be. I was in college at the time and watched it with some of my bros.
It's okay. I'm sure that in high school and college, well, I dropped out of college, but in high school and shortly after high school, I'm sure I watched plenty of things that are problematic and probably liked some of them.
Your interview is coming up. Why did you drop out of college?
It wasn't working for me.
But you're, a successful person now. You have a W-2 job and you...
Yeah, I dropped out at a
cameras.
time. Yeah, at the time I dropped out, if you could spell the word internet, somebody wanted to give you a job at computers. So and then I got, experience, and I'm not bad at what I do. So
Bam!
it's worked out
Bringing
for me.
it back to the dark backwards. Have you ever seen or read Higgledy Piggledy Pop?
I'm going to say no and no.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so the whole point of Higgledy Piggledy Pop is that Higgledy Piggledy Pop goes on this adventure and comes back to the same place. And they're like, well, what did you get? Experience. Like,
Oh wait, yeah, I did see that. You said that to me. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Oh, yeah. Because Meryl Streep's in the like short version they made for I've got it on the disc of Where the Wild Things Are. And this movie is exactly like Higgledy Piggledy Pop to me, where a young person goes on an adventure and meets the lion, and then at the end comes back home with the experience, just like Bilbo does.
Sure.
Just like I wish I had another example to finish that sentence. It would have sounded better, but the Bilbo reference in Higgledy Piggledy Pop. Did we ever settle on what The Tempest is about?
No, we didn't settle on.
Do you know off the top of your head?
I'm assuming it's about a storm, but
Sure. Are you motivated by Shakespeare very much? Like, do you know iambic pentameter? I saw Nick shake his head no.
When I was younger, I think I went on a Shakespeare kick and probably read most of his stuff, but that was a long time ago. So
You read most of his stuff?
yeah, I had like this big book. I think it was called The Concordance of Shakespeare, and it was like a 30-pound book with a lot of his stuff. And I think
You are a nerd. What do you think the difference between a nerd and a geek is?
I think it's none of my business. People can call themselves what they want.
Wow. Yeah. People usually define it for us. Yeah,
You
I
ended
guess.
the last segment by talking about Super Freak, a movie somebody else is making. But what do you think a super freak is then? If you won't tell me what a nerd or the difference between a nerd and a geek is.
In the context of his movie, the super freaks are a bunch of, I would say, differently abled people who all have some form of superpower associated with that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In the case of the Rick James song, I think it was a woman who was very promiscuous.
Super freak, super freak, super freaky is what I think of when I see Bill Paxton with three bodacious women. Is that fair? Am I allowed to use that terminology?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Pickles,
Pickles, yes.
Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even know which one is which because then he does the whole Pickles, Shirley, Pickles, ba ba da ba da ba da thing when he's introducing them to Marty.
Does this movie does not pass the Bechdel test because Pickles and Shirley don't have a conversation. They have names, they have conversations, but do they have anything that's a conversation not about a man?
No, there are no portions of this movie with multiple women having a conversation that isn't about a man, or even women having a conversation, or even really much more of a part than kind of a prop.
You don't think that scene is for laughs when there are when he's chewing the scenery as you refer to it?
Oh no, the scene is definitely for laughs, but I don't think the weight of the women is the joke. I mean, like, so he's going on and on about how he'll eat anything, and he has that soup stuff that's like castor oil and
Oh, yeah, because I thought that was
I thought it was
crap.
poop.
Yeah, I
We
thought it was
For a
poop.
second, I
No.
thought,
We
is
had to
it
go
shit?
back
Like,
and be like, it's not poop?
Is that
No.
poop, right? Oh,
No, he goes through a whole list of like, have you ever had dog food in castor oil with this and this and this? And he kind of ends it
okay.
with like a little like, and a little something. I can't remember the full list.
Poop
Sorry.
would
I'm
probably
not a
be
good fan of this
healthier to
movie.
eat than castor oil with all that shit.
Yeah. So, because he's on, one of the things with Bill Paxton is he has all these things. He has a number of things that many people would find like kind of creepy or gross. Like he eats garbage.
Yes.
And
Licks dead women's tits.
right, and he's seemingly not really even aware that people might. So he's proud of all these things. So when he's with those women, he's going on and on about, would you ever eat this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I've eaten bugs. And, he's like super proud of all these things. And he's proud of eating this disgusting bowl of whatever, for his breakfast. And then, of course, he has Nikki bring it out to him and he rubs the stuff on his nipples and then makes the other women lick it off of his nipples.
Speaking of disgusting
Yeah.
nipples, dead bodies, while you were speaking just there, I had the epiphany.
Were you picturing my dead body and my nipples?
I'm going to save this by making a reference to 2003's Michael Bay directed Bad Boys 2.
okay.
There's a scene where they're in a morgue. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith debate if a dead woman had nice titties or not. That to me is slightly more disgusting than Bill Paxton licking.
No way. Bill
'Cause
Paxton licking the breasts of a dead woman
Bill
is far
Paxton
more
is
disgusting.
a bad guy. He's the antagonist of this movie. Will
Oh,
Smith
no.
and
No.
who's the antagonist? Okay, we'll get back to that. But like, have any of you in this room seen Bad Boys 2?
No.
Yeah.
I have seen Bad Boys 2. I do not remember that scene.
It was a seminal moment for me because I snuck out to go see it with a friend. Fuck it. His name was Han Choi. Weird
Shout
guy.
out.
Definitely.
Wait, weird guy. We still went out and watched a movie with him. Oh,
He wanted to see it. He wanted to hang out, and it was good cover for me to sneak out and see Bad Boys 2. Because my conservative Christian adopted parents in 2003 were like, no, you can't see that R-rated movie. And of course, I bought tickets to a different movie and then walked into Bad Boys 2 because it wasn't doing that well in my small town.
yeah, I would say licking the boobs of a dead woman is much worse than talking about
They also desecrate the bodies in a car chase after that.
the
I would-
same body.
Probably.
I would say neither is good.
No. Of course, neither is good. But, like, in my head, like, when I saw this a couple of days ago, I was like, wait a second. Something like this has happened in a movie before, and it's wrong. And, like, movies are not real life. It introduces disgusting Kirk and I were talking about, before you got here, how Dexter's sister has attraction to him in season 6 of Dexter.
Yeah, only because after she finds out she's not related, blood related to Dexter, and then she starts developing these feelings for him for some odd reason. It was a weird season.
Necrophilia, incest. Here's the thing I think is good about movies. How is he going to get anywhere from this? It's happening in a fake place that I am nowhere connected to, but I can at least think about it and go, oh, shit. Well, if I ever encountered that, what would I do? You know?
So
definitely run away.
So you're saying you're going to go find Jörg Buttgereit's German classic film Necromantic?
No? The fuck are you talking about, Dan?
That's a shocker film. Since we were talking about like the Faces of Death and whatnot before.
Uh-huh.
No, like it was intentionally made to be like shocking. Although
Yes.
one of my friends says I'm an idiot was actually made to be a comedy. I think it was unintentionally a comedy, and he was trying to be shocking.
Wait, which is worse? Trying to be funny and being shocking, or trying to be shocking and being funny?
They're kind of the same thing. I don't know.
Nope. They are not. Those are very different results, very different intentions.
Anyway, the movie's called Necromantic, and you can
You
you can
wanna
make your
watch it.
assumptions about what it's about
Well, with that level of...
with a K because it's German.
Yeah.
Oh, well, wait.
Nicholas.
Tell me the difference between the
I think it would be much worse to be funny and try to be funny and come out as shocking, because people are like, oh, you thought that would be funny? Versus I was trying to be horrific or shocking and people thought I was funny, and you could always be like, yeah, I was trying to be funny, you're right.
two. Yeah, but it's in the like underlying thing is that you're trying to get a reaction, so you're playing it up a little bit more. This is like your true thoughts coming out, but then, oh, it's just a joke. I didn't really think that. Come on, guys, it was just a joke. I mean, that's far worse, right? If you thought that and people thought it was funny because it was so uncomfortable to think about it, I think that's far worse. Because I don't think people actually found it funny. People just found it uncomfortable.
To try and help this conversation and tie it to the whole thing, do you think this movie was made to be shocking or to be funny?
The Dark Backward?
The Dark Backward, the movie we're spoiling
to be
and
funny.
discussing.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be funny.
It's an intentional comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You don't think is it also intending to be shocking?
No.
Well,
think it was
maybe
made to
with
be
that
weird.
third hand growing out of his back, but it
What's-
doesn't go anywhere.
What's the difference between being shocking and being weird? It's just asynchronous with what people consider normal.
I think shocking is meant like you're crossing the line into something that's taboo. Whereas no one thinks enough about, like, beforehand, an arm growing out of your back for it to be taboo, the way they think about, like, any number of things that would be like, oh, fucking incest, okay, I'll put some incest in that movie. People have thought about it, like and it's obviously taboo, And it's because and I guess it's more well known because it happens enough for it to be taboo, but this is something so off the wall that it's like it's not.
Yeah.
It's too fringe to be taboo because no one's thought about it enough for it to be taboo. But
Yeah,
it's
like,
weird.
If the protagonist of the movie dies suddenly, it's shocking, right? Or if you wanted to go like a weird form of shocking, like you said, going into extremely taboo subjects would be shocking. Where weird can just be like, what if you had footage of like an old person sitting outside of a store just chewing ice cream while staring at the protagonist in a creepy way? That's weird. It's not shocking. Might make a good movie scene.
Sure.
That's a good example of shocking without being taboo. The main character, like Psycho.
Yeah.
Maybe back then it was like taboo, but like nowadays it would be shocking if we really thought that was the main character.
Yeah.
But not taboo, but shocking and not weird. It's just like shocking. Who's a star? If Sydney
Well, Brad
Sweeney.
Pitt in Burn After Reading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Coen brothers have a lot of weird characters and
They're also shocking.
But not all the weird characters are shocking characters.
I would love to ask them how they define the difference between shocking and weird, but since I can't at this moment, I will instead pivot to asking, is this movie more relevant to stand-up comedy than Funny People from 2009, directed by Judd Apatow?
Maybe more relevant to struggling starting comedians.
So,
than
again,
funny
you
people.
can just say comedian. You don't need to say struggling.
Well, but funny people, they're successful, right? They're like stars.
The Seth Rogen gets connected to Adam Sandler and then has a meteoric rise, but then he ends up back at the same place, and through his experience, now he can,
Sure,
Does
sure.
he though? Does he end up in the same place? I think he ends up in a better place.
So does Marty. Sorry, Nick.
Does
Well,
he?
if they end up in the same place, how do we know? I mean, like for this, I didn't see any signs, and this is not a criticism of the movie. I'm just saying I didn't see any signs that his experience was going to help him do
Yeah.
anything differently going forward. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I'm just saying there is a difference between like a totally flat arc. Nothing. You can have stuff happen and not necessarily learn. And it's like, did the character learn anything from that experience? Obviously, stuff happens, and everything that happens is experience, quote unquote. But were there any signs that I may have missed that he was going to do anything differently? To me, it seemed like it was supposed to be like a kind of a bit of a downer ending. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like you know.
Oh no, I would go a different way and say
Yeah.
it's a happy ending.
To
really?
me, it was as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can make any assumptions you want about what happens to Gus when he gets to Hollywood, but I
Yeah.
would expect that he doesn't become famous.
Yeah.
I would also expect that Jackie Crome does not successfully open a big talent agency
Yeah.
in Hollywood. But Marty has developed the confidence to just be himself. So he stops wearing that silly, oversized blue suit when he's on stage, and he goes to his just garbage man outfit.
Oh, okay.
And instead of trying to tell jokes that the audience just doesn't get, he just starts relating stories about his life, and they start laughing, and then he starts making slightly self-effacing humor
Okay.
about it. And, for whatever reason, people laughed a little bit more, like he's become relatable to them, even though the stories he's telling are obviously
Okay.
not incredibly relatable. So like when he says, like, his girlfriend left, gave him the boot. She was just tired of him always having the upper hand,
Okay.
stuff like that. So
The way the slow fade they did made me think it was like this is supposed to be like didn't seem like a happy slow fade. It felt
Yeah,
like
I didn't think it was happy at all.
Well, that's how it reflected on you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying what it is or isn't objectively.
Well, what made it happy for you that he was so confident to tell these jokes?
I've talked a lot about my adopted father in this one, and I'm going to do another one to
All
tag
right.
up on Dan. My father told me when I was writing as a younger man that he didn't think I could be a very good writer because I didn't have enough experiences in life to write about. And then as I got older, basically his thought was, yeah, you know how to competently write things and form them, but most people are older than you. So you need to have experiences. And obviously young writers can write very poignant. Adam Rifkin wrote this movie, and we're reading into it that, he wrote it when he was 19?
that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and, then we can graft other things onto it. But the idea that it's about getting experience and then being able to apply that experience authentically as going from the big suit to the garbage thing, I guess. And we should be wrapping up, but I can't help myself. What is the meaning of the arm falling off?
It doesn't fall off; it disappears.
Oh,
Technically,
you
right?
think
Yeah.
it just dissipated?
Yeah.
No, I think it sucks back into his body.
You think matter just went inside him and he's now more dense,
Are you saying that it makes more sense that it evaporated?
dissipated?
What's the difference?
Evaporate involves water,
Okay.
vapor.
Okay, sure. fair enough.
You're right, because what is it? 70% of the human body is water, so yeah.
Anyway, I don't think it just dissipated, and I don't think it fell off, because he would have found it if it fell off. I think it probably just sucked back into his body.
I thought it was like a pimple in that, and I'm not going to get off this idea. Like, he squirted out the part that's bad, and then the rest just healed around it.
Okay,
What
but
part,
pimples also
though?
get absorbed back into your body. They don't
Not the
evaporate.
pus
They don't dissipate. No, the pus doesn't dissipate either, though. I mean, like,
goes into the world.
sure, but the arm didn't go into the world.
We don't see his bed. We don't know if there's like these slimy, greasy residue.
There's
Sure.
probably is just based on the rest of the movie. Everything's slimy and greasy. But I mean, there's stuff that I still want to dig in on here, though. But one of the reasons also I think that it's a happy ending is people are actually laughing at his jokes.
Yes.
Yeah, people
Agreed.
are
Where-
starting to laugh at his jokes.
Yeah, where
Sure, yeah.
for every comedy routine he does up until then,
Nobody
it's
laughs.
pure
Mm.
silence and done intentionally very awkwardly with all those like close-ups of people's faces just looking pained or like awkward as he's telling the joke. So I think in the end he gets what he wants, which is to be a comedian that people find funny.
That was a big thing for me. I swear, and it's probably due to the copy I watched. I did not hear the laughing at the end. I was waiting to hear, are they laughing now? And I didn't hear
No, but
anything.
they cut to their faces, and
Yeah,
it's
and they were
very
smiling.
different. In,
At the end, really?
yeah, you see people smile. There's like a toothless guy,
Huh.
or he's missing some teeth.
I mean, I'm thinking of like the very last shot, at least from what I remember.
That long zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can hear people laughing as he's telling.
Okay, yeah. So I don't remember any of the cutaways to people smiling, because then that would have registered more. I did not hear the laughter. That was a big thing.
I don't think there
for
are
me.
cutaways in that last long zoom. I
No.
think it's one slow.
That's what
zoom
I
out.
I
But-
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and the jokes leading up until that, though, they're cutting away to people
Oh,
laughing, and then as they're
okay.
zooming out, you can hear people at least chuckling as
Okay.
he's telling the jokes.
And
Not like
conversely,
belly
in
laughs,
the early part, they do cut away to people who are like not.
Well, I
into
remember
this
those
joke.
cutaways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then again, when he has the third arm and they do the comedy routine at the other place, and the
Sloppies?
Sloppies, yeah, and I forget the name of that actor, but the actor that plays Sloppy himself is great. He's been in a bunch of stuff too. But anyway, and Sloppy's just like angry and like, this guy's terrible.
The cowboy hat guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's terrible, and why does the accordion keep moving back and forth?
He's from the. I know him from the Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
He's on the airplane.
Yeah, see, like I said, he's been in a
sketch.
bunch of stuff.
Sketch, not sketch. Segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, also, we never drilled in on why you think that Gus is the villain of this
Yeah,
movie.
why do you think Gus is a villain?
Sorry, we're going to go over your time, but
No, that's fine. It's not like this podcast. People can choose to listen as much as they want or not. He is working in direct opposition of the protagonist, as it's revealed about halfway through.
Is he, or is he just...
He's working towards his own pure id
Yeah,
interests.
but that doesn't make him the bad guy or the
They're
antagonist.
in opposition to the perceived success of the protagonist.
Well, technically, I don't think Marty wants anything, though, in the beginning of the movie. I don't even feel like he wants to be a successful, quote-unquote, comedian. He just wants to tell jokes. I don't know
No,
if
he does want to be a full-time comedian. He specifically states that he wants to leave his, 9-to-5 type job and go into the thing that is his passion, and specifically mentions it at one point and says to his girlfriend, like, oh, well, I've got this new job, then it's going to go well with Wayne Newton.
Yeah, but I would also argue that Gus is pushing him a lot more than he is pushing himself. So I don't know if he's working against Marty.
yeah,
Do you
'cause
think? Yeah.
I would say he's not working against Marty, but he's trying to use Marty to achieve his own ends. Like there's even that part where they're in the cafe and Gus is saying, Marty's going to get famous and he's going to make me famous with him. And then there's another line that he says something like, when Marty gets rich, we all get rich. So he
sounds
thinks,
like antagonist behavior to me. Who is the antagonist if not him? Wayne Newton?
I'm not sure. Reality, maybe. His own lack of talent.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's his own antagonist. Until he, finds a way forward, right? Like, I've talked on other things about how we have franchises where later in the franchise they start to have to embody Jurassic Park. Like, you didn't have a bad guy in Jurassic Park. Well, you had Nedry, but like he's killed, and then you don't have like a big final boss sort of bad guy. And then they kind of had one in the second one. They didn't have one in the third, and now all of like the Jurassic Worlds, all the new ones have to have like a bad guy twirling their mustache sort of thing. And I also have mentioned in the past like the American Pie movies, which is different because it's like they're comedies, but like no villains, no antagonists in like the original trilogy. But then you get into like the straight to video ones, and there's a mustache twirling like, oh, I'm gonna do this bad thing to get some, like it's kind of like weak. Not to say it's a bad thing to have like a defined antagonist, but like kind of weak writing when previous movies didn't need it, and then in a franchise you have to fall back on like, oh, I need this I can't convey it any other way else, so like I'm gonna have this person who's twirling their mustache and doing this with their eyebrows like a bad guy, sort of like that. And I think this one is just like he's his own antagonist, maybe.
Here's what I'll compare Marty to.
Yeah.
Batman in the Dark Knight. And the antagonist of that movie is Harvey Dent, as it turns out. Harvey Dent, Two-Face. It's not the Joker. The Joker's the antihero. He starts out as an ally of Batman, kind of like how Bill Paxton does Gus. And then Gus has a change of circumstance and pursues his own path that is in opposition to the protagonist, Marty, Batman. Therefore, Gus is an antagonist, Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent is the antagonist.
Yeah, but Harvey's pushed to the edge, though, and he gets his face.
Yeah,
burned
it's
off.
good if you can sympathize with the bad guy.
Yeah, but Harvey
He's
isn't...
not even a bad guy until like the very
until
like
Joker
almost
turns
the
into
last
bad guy.
end of the movie.
The unchanging character that stays the same from the beginning to the end, the anti-hero, is a catalyst in the plot for the antagonist taking their antagonist arc. Yes, that's why you have an anti-hero, is to contribute to the plot for the protagonist and the antagonist to meet their.
The anti-hero is Wayne Newton.
Definitely.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I would argue Two-Face or Harvey Dent, he's always riding the line, though. Like, he doesn't want to be the bad guy, but he tries to be the good guy. But when Joker gives him no choice but to be the bad guy, he kind of just goes all the way with it. So I don't think Two-Face changes all that much. He has no choice but to be his authentic self at the end. Be this guy who is technically trying to do good, but he's evil at the end anyways. He's always been that way. They call him Two-Face for a reason. Try and ride that line between good and bad.
Yes, the evil was always inside of Harvey Dent. That's why he's able to become the antagonist he is. What do you think about comparing this movie to Joker?
Well, only because Joker is a comedian, failed comedian, yeah.
Obviously they have very different arcs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Joker is he gets success and then kind of ends up at the bottom again by the end.
I don't think men's rights activists are going to fall in love with this movie.
No.
That is one of my reasons I will defend Joker Folie à Deux, is because at least Todd Phillips told us, no, I don't like that. That's clear in Joker Folie à Deux.
Yeah.
I don't like the incels who latched onto my movie and like this. I'm really... man,
Yeah, but
do we have the representative of incels we can get on this show to talk to? Like, who's the leader of the incels? I
What
want to talk to
incel
that.
is the
Wait,
one
was he
to come
killed
on
today?
this
No,
show?
just kidding.
If you can stop recording, I'll start throwing out names. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if you can go on the internet and throw a rock, you'll hit one, but...
Throw a rock on the internet. Dwayne's pretty heavy. I liked this movie, and I would defend this movie. I'm upset you think this movie is bad and that you've presented it to us, and I still don't think I have an answer as to why you picked this movie.
We didn't get into some of my anecdotes about this movie.
What?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah, we don't have your anecdote.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I have multiple anecdotes about this movie.
Keep going.
So, years and years ago, back early 2000s.
Back in the early 2000s.
Yep, so I was on a site called Spark Match, which eventually became OkCupid.
Oh,
But at
wow.
the time, there weren't that many people doing online dating, so it was kind of just more of a thing that would like match you with people across the U.S. Yep, and I met a woman who lived in Albuquerque, and we hit it off. So at some point, I went down to Albuquerque to visit her.
New Mexico?
Yeah. So she was very goth. Actually, friends with. Do you remember Tamagotchis?
Yeah.
There was,
For sure.
Yeah, there's a guy that made a version of that called Tamagotchi on the internet.
All right.
And she was like friends with that guy, and he made a card game called Gothier Than Thou, because in the early 2000s.
With the Tamagotchi, you would take care of it, but it's a little goth pet?
Yeah, it was a little goth kid. And stuff.
Okay, cool. Where was a little
Whoa.
goth kid, like
Yeah.
on the South Parks? Okay.
Yeah, something like that. And and like I said, he made a card game because everything was card games back then. You know.
Still is Yu-Gi-Oh. Are the kids
Sure,
talking
okay.
about Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't know.
I don't know anything
Yeah.
about that.
Pokemon. The kids talk about the Pokemon.
Okay, no, back then it would have been more like Magic the Gathering was starting up, or there was one called Lunch Money that we all played, which was like a bunch of people fighting on a school ground. And anyway,
All right.
he made one called Gothier Than Thou, and she was like the trump card in his.
The woman you met who you were connected to on a proto version of OkCupid?
Yeah,
Cool.
and I'm kind of a goth kid myself, maybe.
What?
Yeah, they should keep up with it in the interview.
Yeah, do you want me to quote the lyrics of this corrosion? Anyway.
You can if you want to do, yeah.
No, that's okay. But anyway, so we were talking, and I was watching this movie around that time, and she was interested, so I brought it down, and she invited a few of her friends, including that guy that had made Gothier Than Thou. And at the end of the night, apparently they told her they were worried about leaving her with me because nobody in their right mind would bring this movie to make a first impression on somebody.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So that's, I mean, like,
And how did you get out of that situation?
she
Where-
basically just told them to leave.
Told them to leave.
Yeah. No, she was fine with it. Her friends like took her aside, and they were like, "We're worried about you. This guy's not in his
During
right
the movie
mind."
or after the movie?
After the movie, they were like, "We're worried about you. This guy's not in his right mind. Who would ever bring this movie
How
to
did
make a
they
first
react
impression?"
during the movie? And this is the early 2000s, right?
I don't know that I was paying that much attention. It was a
Before
dark
or
room.
after 9/11?
What?
Probably after 9/11.
Okay, just want to,
That was
What does that
2001.
matter?
I have to travel on 9/11 tomorrow, so dating the bait.
Oh, wow.
I-
That's a different.
I don't think there's been any
discussion.
disaster since the day of, and it's not like a big anniversary or anything. So I think it's fine. Next year maybe I'd be careful. That's the 25th. But.
What is that the silver anniversary, or what kind of gift am I supposed to get for that
I don't know.
Patriot Day?
But maybe I'd avoid doing it on any like 5 and 10 year anniversaries.
You're expected to watch all of the 150,000 angles of the second plane hitting 3 times as much
Yeah,
on the
Damn,
25th
alright.
That was
anniversary.
horrifying as well.
Don't forget now.
This will be released after this has happened, but I know Tucker Carlson has a 9/11 truther documentary coming out.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, but
Wow. All right.
it's true. And hey, welcome to October. Whoever is listening to this far. The second anecdote is how you got the
yeah.
signature
Yeah,
on the disc that people see on the.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not
picture?
like a video podcast, so y'all can't see it. But what I
It's
have,
on the picture they clicked on to watch this. I was
Okay.
holding it so they could see.
Oh, good. Well, what I have here in my very hands, in my small human hands, is a copy of The Dark Backward on DVD with both the cover and the disc signed by Claudia Christian, who played Nurse Kitty in this movie. And I actually had 2 of them for a moment because my friend had lent me his copy of The Dark Backward on DVD, which I lost. It was
Oh,
like
wow.
a different box cover. It was like the earlier version. And then I found out Claudia Christian would be in town for a convention, so I decided the best way to say sorry to my friend was I would get him a copy and get it signed. And I was like, I might as well get 2 and just get one signed for myself. So I went to this convention, waited like an hour in line to get to Claudia Christian, and I've never waited to have anybody sign anything before.
What do you do for that hour?
I had a friend with me, so we just chatted in the line.
No.
The friend of whose disc you lost?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he even knew I had lost the disc at this point.
Okay.
But when we got up there, she'd been kind of friendly and chatting with everybody that came up. And like, of course, most of them just had her signed headshot or her headshot. And, she was telling them little Babylon 5 anecdotes. And they handed her this disc and she looked like somebody farted. She just she had not a single word for me. She just like silently signed it
Oh, dang. All right.
and like pushed it back to me. And I was ushered away. So I don't think she's proud of this movie.
Has
Yeah.
she commented on it publicly anywhere that you can find? I will ask Perplexity at some point.
I've not like gone searching for
yeah.
anything she said, but and there's Tony Cox, by the way.
Oh yeah, I saw Tony Cox.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, no, I've never seen anything that she publicly said about this movie, and I think this is actually the second Adam Rifkin movie she was in. So it might be that she was the star of his other movie. I forget the name of it, but it might be that he convinced her to be in this movie while she was making that movie, and then when she showed up and realized what her part was, she was not happy, but
Not
felt
amused. Yeah.
like compelled to just follow through with it anyway.
Why would
Yeah.
she feel bad about being a nurse in this movie?
A nurse that basically blackmails him. Well, she doesn't blackmail him, but a nurse that basically extorts him for sex.
Extorts Marty.
Yeah, because the doctor looks at his bump, and then he does that funny little thing with his hands where he can't read his own handwriting on the bill.
Yes.
So he's like saying to her, like, what? And she's like,
Oh
and
yeah,
she goes,
that's
like,
where the
2525
$250
at him.
bucks.
And he
Yeah.
goes,
how much to charge
$250.
him?
Yeah. All right.
And then he walks away, tells the nurse, I don't have $250. She says, well, we can work out other ways you can pay. And she, even when he walked into the room, she basically threw her body at him.
Well, Kirk was confused because he's like, why is every
Why are they attracted to
conventionally
Marty
attractive woman?
Malt? Like,
I'm not sure. She might do that with every patient.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
She couldn't have her own individual interest in Marty Malt.
she could. I'm just saying, she may be that into Marty Malt. She may be that into every patient that walks in. We don't know. But we do know that she basically extorts Marty for sex.
Listen, the thing that is most important to me that you walk away from this experience knowing is that this is a sex-positive podcast. And if people are wanting to have sex and they consensually have that sex with other people, we are in favor of that. Because we are a sex-positive podcast.
I am sex positive as well, but I also don't think that if somebody can't pay their bill, somebody should be extorting them for sex.
Yeah, it's weird.
Obviously not. Sex slavery is wrong. But I just want to make clear that I know what sex positivity is, and I am in favor of,
Yeah, and sex work is great too if that's what people want to do with their life. But Marty didn't consensually enter into a sex work arrangement. He
doesn't sex her that we know of. Do we?
I think it's implied.
Yeah.
It's implied.
Because she didn't pay.
He doesn't get a
strongly
follow-up
implied.
bill, does he?
No.
He can't
Fucked
pay,
her.
and she gives him one other option to work off his bill.
You're assuming 2 and 2 always equals 4. Sometimes $1 bill falls off the stage. You don't know.
You're welcome to believe what you want.
$250 fell off and she got paid.
Yeah. You're welcome to believe what you want, but it is my assumption that he paid his bill with his flesh.
Well, the debt that most people have in this country happens to be medical debt. So I think if they could get out of it with fucking, OnlyFans exists, and it takes the pimps away. And the pimps are bad from everything I learned from that one David Simon show I watched. The Deuce, that's what it was.
For the most part, that I believe that would be true, yes. But if people intentionally and willingly choose to enter a life of sex work, whether that be OnlyFans or prostitution, I think that's totally fine, and that is their choice.
Do you think anyone can actually choose anything in their life, or they are they're actually the circumstance of so many macro things they have no control over that maybe we should all just be less judgmental?
I think whatever the answer to that is, it probably doesn't matter, because whether or not we have any sort of real free choice in our life, we're still going to just keep doing what we're doing.
Dan, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Stay tuned for Dan's interview.
Then even when people are willing to write, finished scripts, sometimes, you can't come to a good agreement on how the film should be shot, etc. There's a writer I'm working with now, and I think we're going to be able to come to a good agreeing point. But, her script is great. I just, want to change a couple things in it to make it both easier to shoot, and one of the characters just doesn't work for me as is.
Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.